or the lack of quality. I'm not sure what we're going to be getting.
Alright, well, we're just going to wing it.
Okay, cool.
Alright.
Let's see if you see you. Yeah, we do. Alright, we should be good to go.
Alright. I'm going to give it a clap to sync the audio with the video later, and then we'll start. Welcome to the Bald and the Slav Podcast, Episode 1. I'm here with my first very special guest, Carlos Mencia.
The Bald.
Thank you, Carlos.
Did you say Carlos Mencia? It's Alfonso. Where did you pull Mencia from?
He's a comedian.
Oh, really? Okay, I'm just dumb. That's just...
He was famous, or infamous, I guess, for, like, stealing people's jokes.
Oh, I remember that guy. Yeah, like, he's been canceled a few years ago now, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I remember him. Yeah, that's probably why I didn't remember that name. I just buried it deep in my psyche. Here. No, this thing has been a shit show up to this point to get running. I've been, like, what? No, I was, like, 40-something minutes late. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to run a touch late, not half an hour late to this damn film.
Oh, yeah, you drove to the wrong place.
Oh, completely. Yeah, no. Like, 4 exits completely different side of town. Like, I start pulling out of this damn place, and then I see that there's a rocket museum, like, right next to it. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Where am I?
A rocket museum?
Yeah, I think it was, like, Air and Space Museum in Durham or something, but...
Oh, I think I know what place you're talking about. It's like the Museum of Life and Science.
Something like that. There's a giant rocket in the front of it.
Yeah, I used to go to the place all the time when I was a kid.
Is it worth it?
I mean, it's cool.
Like, for kids, or, like...
There's this... Anyone who's been there who will know what I'm talking about. There's this, like mist tornado machine or whatever, and it like makes like a little cool tornado.
Yeah.
And everyone thinks that you have to run up to these poles that are manipulating the air or whatever, and like rub your hands up and down the poles in order to make the tornado happen. But actually, it's the complete opposite. You're supposed to not do anything, and the tornado will be there, and everyone messes it up by rubbing the poles. But everyone thinks that you're supposed to go up and rub the poles to make it happen. So everyone's messing up the tornado all the time.
Look, it's like a Freudian slip. Everyone wanted to like rub that meat, but like it's not meat in this case. It's a pole, and they just really wanted to rub one out for the tornado. That's all that really was. Let's be fair. But yeah, no shit. So so I was there, and then all that, and then we found out we couldn't use our 2 microphones because I probably have to get like another cord or cable or something. That's fine. We'll do with the double.
Yeah, I have an XLR, which is audio interface microphone, and Carlos brought a USB, and you can't use them at the same time apparently.
Yeah.
So, but we're using this one now with the double pop filter, ultra fashionable.
Yeah.
I think it'll probably catch on.
I don't think so. But it works. It'll do the job. But yeah. So like, what you been up to lately? I haven't seen you in like what, 2-3 months.
It's been a while, yeah, since we moved out. I've been doing various things. I'm studying to take the NCLEX.
Okay.
I'm like starting this new business here, where I help people with like their social media.
Oh, okay. I was about to say it's like it's starting a new business. You cut off there, and it's like, I know many uncles who say the same thing. Many of them are dead. Yeah, cool. So, like, just kind of like social media marketing kind of thing?
Yeah, LinkedIn specifically.
Oh, okay.
I think it's the next big thing, man. It's the Google of people.
Okay, I wouldn't go that far. But, well, no, I mean, LinkedIn is pretty stable. It's not going anywhere. It's not like a normal social media, like a Twitter or something like that. Mm-hmm. I don't think it ever will be, but it has a really important purpose in terms of jobs. So.
I think it's going to change over time, and it's going to be less, like, over the next 3 to 5 years or so, it's going to be less about employers finding employees and more about businesses finding clients and customers.
I can find the clients and customers one is a bit weird to me because it is just so employee focused right now. I don't see it moving there. What makes you think that?
Well, everyone is like trying to pitch their things on Instagram.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, not on Instagram, on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are focusing their advertising right now. Like, businesses are advertising on things like Facebook and Instagram. And I don't think it really works that well because those are more focused on, like, social aspects of life, whereas LinkedIn is focused on the business aspect of life. And it's people who run businesses a lot of time that use it. Those are the people that are more you're more easily able to sell too because they are business minded.
Okay, so not necessarily saying I'm gonna sell you a makeup line or something like they do on Instagram, but like saying like, oh, you're into, this is gonna sound stupid, wood carving. Here's a wood carving set that you might be into. It's like, yeah, this seems like
Sure, that's a perfect example. Anything like that.
Yeah, except I don't know any wood carvers. Let's be fair.
So, and you know, if people can find you on LinkedIn and you have something they're interested in, then boom, right there.
Well, all right, I can kind of see that. I can see that.
So you can set your profile up so that your profile like pops up more often. They even have like official rating that you can get from LinkedIn, like determines how visible they make you.
Yeah.
So the more visible you are, the more people will find you.
Mm-hmm. So you're gonna do this on your cruise ship site, right?
Right. I go on my laptop for a couple minutes at the end of the day.
Yeah, and then you work as a cruise ship bassist, making God knows what, but spending every dollar on it on booze.
Yeah.
Living at a beautiful net neutral.
Living at a booze neutral.
It's fantastic. That's what Karl Marx really thought of when he thought of communism.
That's the life, dude. Except he probably wouldn't like having to work to a schedule.
I'm pretty sure he died partially because of his alcoholism. So I think the schedule, if it leads to booze, is fine for him.
I don't think he had any like established circadian rhythm or anything too. Like he would just like sleep and wake at random parts of the day, you know? I don't know.
That seems about right.
Combine that with a bunch of boozing.
Yeah. No. I mean, I don't know. It sounds like he lived a life. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe he wanted everyone to aspire to be him.
Dude, I remember reading something. It was like, I don't know, maybe it was in, I think it was somebody spying on either him or someone else.
Yeah.
And it was like documents of people like describing his lifestyle, and they're, you know, describing as basically like exactly like he just sleeps at random parts of the day, or he'll stay awake for like 3 days straight, and he's like always drinking.
Honestly, that sounded like us at Chase at one point during quarantine. Just like, God damn it, this is a perpetual cycle of sleeping and drinking. But yeah, no. Honestly, I've just been, the only thing I've been really up to is, started working on an honors thesis, so finishing up college, gonna be a little good noodle and finish a good essay, and then probably never do anything with that again. That should be great.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan.
Yeah, no, we had like this big exercise that they're like, okay, go through each section of what you think your outline is. It's like, okay, your outline's probably going to change. You're real early in your paper. Don't worry about it too much right now. And have an estimate for what you think each section's going to be. So, okay, introduction, you know, literature review, chapter 1, chapter 2.
You mean like an outline?
Yeah, we had the outline pre-done already, right? Walking into this exercise. The exercise was for us to imagine how big this paper would be. You know, everyone else is writing like, oh, mine's going to be anywhere from like 40 to 60, right?
Pages?
Yeah.
Holy hell.
No, we have a whole year to get it done, essentially, right? And then, you know,
Yeah, but
the
what does
professor
that really
comes
mean?
in and pretty much stretches it a bit out more for them. It's like, realistically, no, you're looking at extra like 20 pages. So the one girl, for example, walked in thinking she was going to have 40, and he's like, realistically, it's going to be 60. Fine. And then for me, my part came in. I'm like, I think this shit's going to be like 90. And it's like, I already see it being a behemoth. He looks at me, and with like dead in his eye, like death, just kind of says, dude, I think you're going to be at like 140. I'm like, I'm writing a fucking book.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
I'm like, oh shit, this is fucking life. This could be great. So yeah, that was fun.
What are you writing about?
So I was gonna write about racism in Cuba. That was gonna be my focus, like modern Cuba.
Okay.
And then because of COVID, I can't possibly go there to do any research. So I'm like, all right, cool. It's a good thing I'm also a history major. I'm just gonna do some random decade. I'm like, 1970s sounds pretty cool. Let's do that.
Like same thing though?
Yeah,
Racism
similar
in Cuba?
idea. Looking at that period, there's a
Sure.
lot of literature on that already. So it's not me like really opening any new doors or anything. It's just the only thing is I have to do some oral interviews. Still trying to set that up because that's fun, especially since I don't know how I'm supposed to have phone sex with Cuban, but
Yeah, that's part of it. You're supposed to have phone sex.
yeah, oral history. That was a bad joke, I know. But no, No, though, they don't really have like an easy way to talk with you, so you gotta through WhatsApp or some bullshit like that. So it's fun. You gotta go through circles with that. Yeah.
WhatsApp's not bad.
It's not terrible, yeah, but also I don't trust that their line's gonna be really good to understand. It's
That's
whatever.
fair.
So
And sometimes there's a delay if they're really far away.
yeah, it's Cuba. Might as well be another world. They're still back in the '90s. So yeah.
Hey man, the 90s, a lot of people think those were the prime days.
No one thinks those are prime days. Kurt Cobain didn't think that was the prime day.
So all this 90s nostalgia, 90s kids understand you.
Legitimately, I see that shit, and then I see people wearing like the '80s nostalgia and shit, and you'd see the same people who say Ronald Reagan's a monster and like '80s nostalgia. It's like, I don't understand you. Do you understand you? It's like the 2 points don't line up, do they? Right?
I don't know.
It's like the '80s are the greatest time ever. Ronald Reagan was terrible. It's like, I wonder who the president was during the '80s. It would be one thing if they're like, '90s are great. I love Bill Clinton. Oh, you know he did things to women. It's like, I think that's totally fine. It's oh shit, the '90s are for you, man. I mean, fuck. Like that inconsistency.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, right? It's like, I love the '80s, but Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan was such a piece of shit.
That doesn't line up. There's something here that doesn't line up. It's like, I never hear anyone say, like, oh, I think the 30s and 40s were awesome, and then say FDR was a piece of shit. It's like, that never lines up.
No, to be fair, I don't think I ever hear anybody saying the 30s and the 40s were the shit.
Oh, I hear a ton of people say that.
You do?
Yeah, like,
You must talk about history a lot more than me or something.
Yeah, obviously. I'm a history major, man. I thought about becoming a history professor for a half a second, and then they didn't pay enough, so no. Now, legitimately, I'll say this. The stereotype are people who listen to, like, you know the artist Lana Del Rey? Are you familiar?
I don't think I've ever listened to Lana Del Rey before.
But you're familiar, right?
I know the name. I recognize the name.
Yeah, so a lot of those girls, and I'm not sure if it's because a bunch of her music videos or whatever, they're, like, super nostalgic for, like, the 40s or something for some reason.
The 40s?
Yeah,
wow.
Like, the idea, like, you know, husband comes home, dinner's not ready, so I'm gonna throw a chair at you. That's really appealing for some reason. So I don't know. Like, plenty of people do.
Tuna casserole!
Yeah, I know. And then you'll get like a bunch of people being like, "Oh, they used to dress so much better back then, and the music was so good." And then they cite someone like, "Oh, they used to listen to Frank Sinatra." It's like Sinatra really became popular like the '60s or something like that. But sure, yeah, they listened to Frank Sinatra in the '40s. I think he
those
was like,
are the OGs. That's how those people imagine themselves. Like,
Yeah.
I would have been one of his fans way back in the day. In the
No,
40s,
like,
but nobody liked it.
legitimately, you
before it
probably
was
could have been
cool.
his dad or something. Yeah, that's like what you would have been. Yeah.
Realistically.
Also, the fact that, like, if I had to go back to the 40s, I'm 22 and I don't have kids, you know how weird that would look to them? It's like, you should have at least, like, 18, Timmy. Like, what are you up to? It's like, no, I don't want to have 18 kids. That sounds terrible.
You could be a cowboy.
No, I think that the West was already done at that point.
Doesn't mean you can't be a cowboy.
Everyone just sees me riding around on the goddamn horse and like, we got cars already.
Those big brim hats, dude.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I could have gone to Texas and it would have been acceptable then still. Yeah.
Dude, like, people, if you dress like and walked and talked like a cowboy, I feel like people would, they'd be like, oh yeah, he doesn't have any children. Like, that's normal.
It's like, what woman would want this guy? Fucking John Wayne bullshit.
Maybe that, but also because he's a free, untamed spirit moving from town to town, moseying along.
See, that doesn't, your definition wouldn't make people think he doesn't have kids, is that, oh, he's not around them.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh, no, he has a couple, I'm pretty sure right now.
He might have a couple.
Timmy still has his 18, it's just
But he didn't want to have them.
I mean, how long have condoms been around? That's the real determiner right there. And also me going like, oh, it's inside. And it's like, that's not the same thing. It's like, oh, I didn't want it. It's like, no, I clearly knew what I was doing.
I don't know. How long have condoms been around? At least like 100 years, I would say.
Maybe more.
Probably more.
But they like, maybe the original ones were like sheep intestines or something.
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, you would just wash it and reuse it because they didn't understand how condoms work. They're like, shit, I came in this side. So inside out it goes. And let's do it again. It's really the puncturing motion that gets the woman pregnant. It's not that weird stuff that comes out of me.
No, it's like, it's having an unshielded orgasm.
Yes.
That impregnates the woman.
Exactly. Which is... which is why you put it inside out. To let all that beautiful sperm right in. And then when she gets pregnant, you beat her because she fucked up with the
trapping the sperm is a side effect. You need to contain the energy.
Yes. The mana. The chi.
Yes. That penetrates the woman.
Oh god, yeah, and sheepskin is the perfect medium to do this.
It has just the right fiber thread count.
No, I could just imagine like some like big brain dude at one point. It's like, I made one out of wood. It's custom size, and the woman's just looking at it like, splinters? No.
Well, hey, you know what? I bet if you had a master wood shopman make it, so he sanded it down like 1,000,000 times over, I bet he could make it smooth as a baby's bottom. Which I probably shouldn't use that metaphor when I'm talking about sex.
I mean, we're there, so fuck it. Well, you say that, but then in my mind is you make such a perfect, like, let's say cone, right? That once, like, you only get really one insert in, because at that point, it's only your dick sliding in and out the wood, so you're just fucking the wood. You're not doing anything.
Yeah, that's true. You're fucking the wood at that point.
So, yeah, no, that's the best way to do it. That's obviously... Who wants pussy when you get wood?
Yeah, he better sand out the inside, too. Like, smooth that part.
Come on, splinters are the best part in your dick. That's... Especially when it's on parts you can't access easily. Like, it gets inside the peen.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
And then, you know, you keep going once it's in there, and so it goes back and forth.
Yeah, and knowing the medicine at the time, that you died by splinter. That's... on the gravestone, died by dick splinter.
Dude, what if you could have like a double splinter, like it was, like the splinter was in you and inside of them at the same time. Like when, like the wood was like connected to both of you.
I think that's the way you're supposed to do it. Maybe that's the plan all along, though. The wood condom's not supposed to be the full term. It's use it for like 10 minutes, really make sure your dick's splintered up, and then you puncture in.
Right.
That's genius. I'm not sure what it's gonna do, but that's genius.
Yeah.
You both died. 100% pregnancy.
Somebody out there try it. Let us know how it goes.
Please. I'm very interested.
I'd try it myself, but, you know, I'm busy.
I mean, we could just try in the back in a bit and see how it goes. No.
Oh, you want to take a short bathroom break?
Yeah, let's go. I mean, leave the camera running. It's fine. They just hear screaming in the distance.
We'll be right back, folks.
Yeah, no, but shit. Ah, man. You been watching anything good lately?
No.
Just... I mean, I've been trying to just watch sports and all that stuff, and
the last show I watched was 100, and I think they just came out with a new season of that, but I haven't watched any of that.
What the hell is that?
It's like humanity goes into space after nuclear war, and the show starts, and they're in space, and they go back down to Earth.
Why would you want to go back here? Like, I mean, space is pretty dope.
You probably get sick of it pretty quickly.
Nah, man. You go to the moon next, and Mars after that. You meet Elon Musk at Mars.
Well, imagine you're just in a box, just floating around the Earth, not going anywhere else. I
mean, that doesn't sound that different than me being in my room. But that, like, I mean, I changed the scenery. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but like, being in your room is only okay.
Also,
because
if
you know that you
if
can
you're
go
in this box
outside.
with, I'm assuming the 100 is there's 100 individuals.
Well, the 100 is to test whether the Earth is capable of surviving.
Mm-hmm.
They send 100 children to Earth first.
Oh, that makes fucking sense. Oh shit, we want to see if this fucking planet is worth recolonizing.
The show starts focusing mainly around the 100, which is the teenagers that were sent to go die.
Okay, but here's the thing. That's so stupid. I get it if that...
They were prisoners, though. If that
justifies
justifies it, yeah.
What the fuck is up with the society? What did the kids do?
It's a very questionable setup.
Okay, yeah, because here's the thing. If you want to prove that the planet is habitable, I would assume you would send, your best and brightest to do tests or beat their meat at certain spots,
well,
but like that.
I'm just gonna go ahead and spoiler some of it.
Okay, I was never gonna watch it to begin with, but
I mean, it's very early. This is all like first season stuff, but like their oxygen is running out, so they're like, we need to figure out if Earth is inhabitable now, and we don't think it is. So let's send all of these children prisoners, which is very ethically questionable. A lot of it is very ethically questionable.
But now you just put it even further. We really need to know if Earth is working. So, do we send our best scientists to determine this? No. Children.
Well, the thing is, you want to keep your best scientists, really. You don't want to send them...
The idea is you're going to die regardless. So, if you send your best and brightest and they die, it's like, we are going to starve off.
You send the children first, and if they live, then you can send the scientists. But if they die, then they would be better served on the ship trying to figure out a way to do something else.
Okay, I get it.
Right?
So season 2 is essentially going to be the scientists now arrive.
Right.
And then they get annoyed the fuck out of by these 100 kids, and they're like, Jesus fucking Christ. Well, there's probably like 80 now, because I'm guessing like a good 20 just yeeted themselves off.
Your estimate of the plot line is fairly accurate.
Is that literally season fucking 2? It's the scientists arrive, and they're like, we're going to do a fucking job. Holy shit, these kids.
Something, and then there's also like other stuff.
Okay.
I'm not going to spoil it anymore.
Oh, Jeffrey Epstein makes an appearance, I guess.
It's a very actually dramatic show. There are a lot of like super dramatic plot turns and decisions, and most of the decisions that are made are extremely ethically questionable, which makes it interesting. But also, you're like, ugh.
I mean, fuck it. They already determined that we're gonna rely on their fucking future for kids. Like, here we go. We're gonna send these fuckers and see what happens. How the fuck did they end up being prisoners?
Yeah, and like all the kids, when they have to end up making survival decisions, they end up making fucked up decisions too, because they learned it from their parents. And then their parents see that, see the monsters they've raised, and they're like, oh shit.
It's like, what will Timmy do? Save 3 of his companions? Or kill them and rape them? I mean, it's gonna be obviously the first. Oh my god! Tim, I'm sorry! I failed you as a dad!
What happened?
What? How did it get to... Oh, I did the same thing. In front of him. That's probably where that mark was left.
It's like, oh yeah, I killed his parents. I imprisoned him.
Oh my god, shit. Alright. Honestly, I'm gonna give that show credit. That sounds far more creative than like 90% what Hollywood comes up with now. Which is...
It's a good show, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I recommend it.
Yeah, no, I've just been, probably for, like, media's sake, I've just been stupid excited. I saw that new Batman movie's gonna be dropping, maybe, if it ever fucking does at this point. Apparently, Robert Pattinson's getting the coronavirus, like, every other day. At least that's a report.
Dude, I saw the trailer for that, it looks sick.
Yeah.
Where he's just, like, punching the guy in the face repeatedly.
You know there's a 10-hour loop on YouTube of that?
No, I didn't know.
No, the best part is it keeps going back to the villains every now and then of like them recording it. It's like just 10 hours of him pummeling the shit. And at the last couple frames is like, I'm vengeance. Like that's that. Just the thought of like a group of friends just watching one buddy get the shit beat out of him for 10 hours and they're like, I'm not intervening. And like after an hour it's like, nah, there's just something more to say. I'm not getting in there.
Dude, your face would be like a pancake.
No, I'm pretty sure he's dead. It's like, forget what the hell else is happening. He's been dead. Like, after hour 1, I'm pretty sure you're dead.
And you know what? I bet that they would sit there, they'd stand there and watch it for a long time. They'd probably be too intimidated to leave.
That's the...
In shock, you're like, he's still punching him.
6 hours in, you're still recording with your goddamn phone. Like, oh, data's out. Shit, let me clear some photos real quick. There we go, second part.
You start recording on Snapchat.
No, you're just fucking on Instagram Live with that shit. Everyone in Gotham's just watching and beat the shit out of this dude. It's just like if you get Brock Lesnar and me in the same room and just beating the fuck out of me.
Breaking news, footage arrives of Batman continuously punching a man for 10 hours straight. Experts are wondering if Batman is suffering some sort of psychological break.
The anchors are like, and if you look here, this used to be where his face was. At this point, he's punching into straight concrete.
Yeah, you can see after the 7th hour mark, he's
Still
literally
going.
only punching concrete at this point. His face is not even there anymore. He just digs like a whole hole into the concrete, dude.
Yeah, no. So I'm excited for that because I think it's gonna be a cool take on Batman. They're gonna go more the detective route, which is they're not doing like just pure action Batman. It's like, oh, now he has to be the detective that world's greatest detective, right?
I think if I went into a movie theater,
Yeah,
and it was just like an hour and a half of Batman punching a guy in
I'd
the
be fine with
face,
that.
I would be happy with that.
no, you remember you ever watch Batman v Superman?
I did.
Yeah, that one scene where he just goes in the warehouse and like plows through everyone.
Dude, the turning point in that movie was a little silly. It's like, your mom's name is my mom's
Look,
name?
Okay.
Oh my god, no, we're
so
friends.
here's the thing. That's where shit writing comes in because the idea could come that, and I got what they were trying to do. They were trying to be like, okay, Batman's trying to dehumanize everything he can about Superman, so he can just come in there and says, I'm killing like an alien and a monster. No big deal, right? They could have literally rewrote it in a way that like, him in this super denial about like this just being a person, right? Then turns around and it's like, it has a mom. And it happens to be my mom's name too. And it's kind of like a weird fucked up moment that you're like, I can't kill this. I can't do this. I fucked up, alright? But no, instead they just decided to go, Martha, how do you know that name? It's just like, what? Dude, honestly though, the first 40 minutes of that movie, I was compelled into thinking it was a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized it wasn't. The fight scenes were pretty cool.
They were pretty cool.
And then it just kept going. And then the Doomsday thing?
I don't remember it that well. Probably
Because it was a wrinkled scrotum, that's why.
It didn't have that much of an impact on me.
No.
Like the Transformer movies, I watched them. I remember watching it and then being like, I don't even know what just happened. Like,
It was just cool.
I can't remember anything. There was a lot going on. It's like I didn't even watch a movie. It's like the time was just gone.
But the only thing you do remember is there was Shia LaBeouf in the movie and Optimus Prime's voice.
Yeah.
He can compel you to do anything with that
And
voice.
there's a lot of moving machinery.
Yeah. I mean, I think the first Transformers was pretty cool. And then the rest of them just got more ridiculous with it. That was about it. The first one was like I think it's a solid movie through and through. It's a fun, enjoyable, story's basic, but whatever. And then the rest of them just kept going.
I can't even rate them because I can't even remember them.
I can remember them because they used to be my like dirty, cheap, like enjoyment.
Secret,
Yeah, I wouldn't say secret. I think that was the case for a lot of people because those movies sold the shit out of tickets.
Mm-hmm.
Like they would just come in and be like, "Oh, you sold like $3 billion in tickets." It's like,
Very
who the
successful.
fuck saw this movie? And it's like me raising my hand. Everyone else in the room's like, I also saw it. It's like when people talked a bunch of shit. Remember the Expendables, that movie with all the old action heroes?
Yeah.
People talk so much shit about that movie. It made a fuck ton of money, all right? And guess what? I watched every single one of them multiple times.
I don't know if I've seen the later ones, but I liked that movie. I thought it was good.
Yeah, the first one was good.
I mean, it was like I felt like it was one of the first movies where they were like grabbing every like major action star and like putting them all in the same movie. So it was like, I don't remember really any movies that really did that before that. I'm sure there were, but I feel like this was one of the ones that really made that sort of concept popular.
Yeah.
And then that's sort of like what the Avengers is. It's like grabbing all the main superheroes and putting them
Yeah,
together.
and every one of the characters is essentially their characters from the movies in some way or another, and they just figure out how to use the lines or some shit. Like, I'm pretty sure the reason they had Sylvester Stallone in that movie just punching dudes is because they're like, fuck, how do we fit Rocky into this?
Dude, I'm pretty sure that he wrote the Avengers.
Sylvester Stallone?
I might be wrong on that one.
I am pretty sure you're wrong on that one. Wait,
No, look it up.
No, it was. I think the guy's last name is Sylvester, but it's something else.
Look up who wrote the Avengers, or maybe like,
Sylvester Stallone.
or maybe like who directed it. He writes and or like directs stuff. I'm pretty sure.
All right. Well, this is taking me right away to the people who wrote the comics. That's not what I'm talking about here.
Type in movie.
Yeah, I'm just going to Wikipedia. We find out like Danny DeVito. Josh Wheaton.
He also writes and directs movies. Danny DeVito.
It was Josh Wheaton.
All right, I don't know who that is, but good job.
I think the guy who made the soundtrack is like something Sylvester something, but it's not Sylvester Stallone. I can guarantee you that.
Maybe that's where the confusion happened.
Yeah, no, that would be hilarious. It's like, wow, one of the greatest selling franchises in human history, and then Rocky just appears as like, I masterminded it all.
Hey.
I was gonna say his wife's name, but I don't even fucking remember that.
Adrian!
I mean, he wrote, I'm pretty sure, the Creed movies that just came out. So, Adrian, yeah, that's his wife's name. He wrote the Creed movies that are pretty fucking good, honestly.
Creed?
Yeah, it's...
about Creed, the guy Creed from The Office?
No.
No?
No. So, in the original Rocky, the first guy he fights is a guy by, like, his last name is Creed, right? In the second movie where he gets killed by the Russian, like, that's the famous Rocky everyone really knows, right? Or was that the third one? Okay, regardless, it might be the second or third. I'm losing track of my Rocky lore right here.
If anybody is listening to this as a Rocky fan, they'll be very upset
now.
You
can absolutely shit on me. It's fine. It's been a while.
I'm no better.
But, so Creed dies because the Russian killed him, and there's that big scene. It's like, he knew what he was getting when he jumped in the ring or whatever, which no fucking boxer would react that way.
You knew what he was getting.
Yeah. Like, let me put it this way. If you were a great UFC fighter or something, and you happen to kill Conor McGregor, just in the fight, would you just be sitting there and it's like, fuck yeah, you'd be sitting there like, I'm horrified, what have I done? It's like, my hands are too powerful.
Well, what do you think Conor McGregor would do?
Well, legitimately, I can tell you what, like, every other boxer has ever done that with, they usually get shattered and they're not the same after that. Because there's one thing to say, I'm going to beat the shit out of someone. There's one thing to say, I'm going to kill them. Like, there's not that antagonism usually there.
I feel like with Conor McGregor, I don't know how much of it is an act. He's usually super antagonistic, right?
Yeah, he is, but, like, there's a difference between you punching an old man and then killing the old man that you punched. It's like, I made a mistake. It's like the human psyche kicks in. It's like, okay, I realized I found the line. I didn't realize it was this deep here. That's probably why I didn't see it before, but...
Or maybe you accidentally kill him and you're like, these hands.
Start killing everyone. But okay, so then he dies in the movie or whatever. So the idea with Creed is that guy's son is getting into boxing, and then Rocky, being the old man that he is like, I'm going to coach you. Right?
Right.
Which, it's got Michael B. Jordan as, like, Creed, right?
Is it still Sylvester Stallone?
Yeah, he's the coach in that one. I mean, it's a really good movie. He won Best Supporting Actor for that because they're playing with the whole thing that, like, Rocky's super old, he's having heart attacks and shit, so it's a really great film. And it is the second one that I don't think I haven't gotten a chance to see it yet, but yeah. I think that's because coronavirus, like, slapped literally perfect timing for me not to see that movie.
So these are like newer movies.
Yeah. They literally just came out.
Okay.
Because people love Rocky. It's the story of the underdog winning every fucking time.
I mean, maybe like he is the supporting actor technically.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's also the star.
It keeps the lore, right? It's like this is the Rocky world. Like the worst Rocky movie I think was the one that came out before Creed, right? Because it was essentially, I think they were doing a play that back in the olden days, Muhammad Ali fought Rocky Marciano, right? Marciano was considered, and a lot of people still consider him the greatest boxer of all time, just because the guy has like an unbeaten streak, right? That I think only Floyd Mayweather just beat, but in cheesing it, right?
What do you mean?
Like he had 50 straight wins, right? Floyd Mayweather did it the same way, but 50 straight wins against like bullshitting who his opponents are, and one of the guys that he boxed was Conor McGregor, which. Okay, Conor's a talented fighter, but he's not a boxer.
And he's counting that as one of the wins.
Yeah, because they count that as a professional fight, which is like, that doesn't count in my book. But regardless, so Rocky Marciano and Muhammad Ali fought like an exhibition match, and there was some trash talking in there or whatever, but that's boxing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the play was, they were doing that, but instead of Rocky being like an old fighter and it was an exhibition, they counted it like it was a real fight and he was fighting like the champion of the world or something. And I think in the movie, they tried to bullshit that Sylvester Stallone's like 40-something. He's like clearly 60 in this movie. He's like in a bar and shit. The bar is failing. His gym's failing. Everything in his life's failing. He's like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna go there. I'm gonna beat this dude's ass. I think he lost. I'm trying to remember, it was a draw or some bullshit. Regardless, that wouldn't happen.
I mean, him getting angry and going up and fighting and losing sounds pretty realistic.
Yeah, but the way they made the fight look was like super competitive. Like, oh, it went all the fucking way, and it's like, no, that wouldn't happen. Like, you're not like. I understand, like, in boxing, there's a term, the last thing that goes with you is your power when you punch. Sure, your reflexes, your speed, your jaw, everything else goes. Yeah. So yeah, you got a hard punch. That guy's also got a hard punch, but he's faster, like, more stamina. He can move around. He can take hits better than you could, right? So it's like, no, you're not winning that fucking fight.
No, Mike Tyson is fighting again.
Yeah, that's an exhibition match. That's not like a real match. It's 4 rounds, 2 minutes each, I think, or something.
You say that, but it's also Mike Tyson. And the last time he had an exhibition match, he knocked the guy out.
Yeah. Well,
you think he's going to hold back?
Probably not. But, like, part of it is this. If you look at his training videos that everyone's getting hyped about, the one thing that I laugh a little bit on is they show a 10-second clip of him, like, plowing this bag, right? Like, going hard on his trainer. They don't show the rest of it, which is probably Mike dying on the floor for 5 minutes.
No, I saw him on JRE. He said, actually, that after that video, he couldn't get out of bed for, like, a week.
So, he's not going to be able to pull that shit on the ring, because imagine he does that, and then instantly he's like,
well, here's the thing. He's been preparing, and they have all this, like, top-of-the-line recovery technology and medicine
Absolutely.
Now, so.
But you also forget the other guy he's boxing is Roy Jones Jr., which is an all-time great, so...
Yeah. I mean...
Like, Roy was talking, like, the only thing he didn't like about this whole exhibition thing is that very clearly the promoters put it in the bias of Tyson. Because normally what they would do is, like, say, we're going to do, you know, normal length rounds, right? 4 rounds of those. Instead for Tyson, they're like, okay, we're going to do 4 2-minute rounds, which is very short. That's a very short round in boxing. Which I wonder why. Because that saves Tyson the energy of being like, I got to go hard for 5 minutes compared to, I just got to go hard for 2, and then I get like a minute rest, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, yeah, that's favorite for Mike. Because Roy's technique is never to just plow through guys. It's to work his way, whatever, wait a little bit, and then somewhere in the middle of rounds get you, right?
I see what you're saying.
So then, like, Roy was exaggerating, like, I'm going to get killed in this ring or whatever. He's like, yeah, that was hype. That's obviously hype.
Well, I think when he originally agreed to it, it was set some number of weeks, like 6 weeks away or something.
Yeah.
And then they changed it later so that he has more time. So that
and
so
then
now
they changed the exhibition rules to be shorter. Yeah, he was talking about, like, they just kept changing the rules on him, but it's because he's not the draw like a Mike Tyson is, because the fan base Mike Tyson has is absurd. Like, if you post on the internet, like, who do you think the greatest boxer of all time is, you know, you're going to get the people who say, like, Muhammad Ali, and some people are going to say Oscar de la Hoya, and, you know, some other people are going to say some other folks, right? The Mike Tyson group is probably the loudest, most annoying group that there is. Because, to be fair, Mike in his prime looked like a monster that, like, no one could beat. Just the speed, the power he had, right?
Mm-hmm.
I tend to sit in the group that, you know, Ali proved his worth. I think a prime Ali would win it. I don't think that's too fucking controversial, but it's not going to be an easy fight either way, right? Also, we can all agree, it's bullshit. That fight's never going to happen. We're just talking semantics at that point, right? Like, you're not going to get guys from 2 different eras to box each other. That's
yeah. Well, maybe in the future.
No, it's just going to be AI, and even if it's, like, really, really good AI, people can start bitching and criticizing and being like, oh, that's not how he would react. He would have done this or whatever, right? You're never going to get the human element in the box, right?
Unless we learn magic and use necromancy.
Mike Tyson's like, say 70 or whatever. He's like, I can still box. He's like, oh, you look good at 70. And then the grave of the damn skeleton of Muhammad Ali comes out. It's like, he's like, oh! It's never faced such terror.
Who would win, old Mike Tyson or undead Muhammad Ali?
I think I gotta go with the undead. You can't actually knock him out. There's no brain to do that with.
Hey man, you can rattle his skull.
Yeah, but that's not gonna do anything. It's just like it's still punching back. No, that would actually be legitimately hilarious.
Ethically concerning, perhaps.
No. Necromancy ethnically concerning? I don't think so.
Did I say ethnically? I meant ethically.
I said ethnically.
You said ethnically.
I think also ethnically concerning. You just see Haitians doing it everywhere all the time. It's like, oh God.
Perhaps, skeleton would be a new ethnicity.
No, didn't Doom make that as a joke? The mortally challenged.
Mortally challenged.
That was such a great joke. It's like, no, you gotta do demons as equals. They're the mortally challenged. It's like, that's genius. I gotta give you credit where it's due.
Mortally challenged.
Yeah, right. But
I'm surprised black people don't call white people melanin challenged.
I think some did try that, but it's just like. I mean, someone could flip it around and say, "Well, hey,
no, you're melanin challenged.
Yeah,
you got too much
because you're the one who gets shot." So,
say that, and then maybe you'll be the one who gets shot.
Yeah, I'm Latino. That's a possibility. You just get some like dude, and like you get that cowboy version of me. Would see the regular version of me and just shoot on sight. It's like instinct. It looks like me, but I'm Mexican. And it's like,
He does a disservice to you. You do a disservice
to myself.
To your branding. Your cowboy version of you's branding.
Oh, so it's not racism. It's just protecting his marketing. I can respect that.
Yeah.
No, I got a higher opinion of my cowboy
Plus,
self.
he just has a disgust response. He sees you and he's just like, ugh.
Yeah, that happens when I look in the mirror sometimes.
Like Hitler when he sees Jews. Just, ugh.
Oh, you mentioned that, but I saw a really great meme from Reddit, right? The r/history meme. They posted, like, look at this brave hero sitting down when all these Nazis are standing up to clap for Hitler. Isn't he so brave? And it's literally Hitler, like, sitting down while everyone's clapping for him. Everyone in the comments like, wow, what is this man's name? And they're like, Adolf Schmittler or something like that. It's like, wow, Schmittler is a brave man standing up against the Nazis.
Dude, my Russian aunt said something hilarious. She doesn't speak a lot of English.
Yeah.
But we were in France together. We were looking at Napoleon's grave. And my mom told me, she was like, oh, like, originally Napoleon and his son were not buried together, but then when Hitler invaded France, he went and got Napoleon's son and buried them together so that they could be together. And I was like, why did he do that? And my mom was like, well, Hitler was very fond of Napoleon, I guess sort of like from one leader to another.
I guess because he wanted to do...
He was a conqueror, he
Yeah.
was very victorious in war, so he kind of liked him. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And my aunt, she turns to me and she says, Dobry Hitler, which means kind Hitler.
You can put that on a fucking shirt. Everyone's like, what does that say? I just read the Hitler part. It's like, kind Hitler.
Kind Hitler.
No, that's... I mean, I wouldn't put it too far past. I would want to maybe fact check that, but I don't know. Also, did you know that for the longest time, Napoleon's penis was like a prized possession by the nobility? Like,
wow.
People would hold on to his penis.
Dude, talk about status.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Yeah. The holder of the staff. That's...
You're so well regarded that after you die, people would...
Yeah, I mean...
Your penis is a prized possession.
The stupid thing...
Literally a prized possession.
Yeah, I don't know if that was like a thing people used to do back then. They'd be like, I want to hold on to this person's dick.
Well, didn't they also have the dick of the Russian guy?
Rasputin?
Rasputin.
That's a sea cucumber. But I also kind of refuse to believe it's a sea cucumber because how massive it is. And I would like to imagine that Rasputin was legitimately just walking around with like a 15-inch schlong everywhere.
Could be.
No, legitimately, like, if you ever see the jar of this thing, it's like, boom, and the damn thing's like yay thick.
I imagine that it was like swollen up from being in the fluid, and also the light reflection makes it look bigger.
No,
the light refraction.
Honestly, I think they did test it, and they're like, it's a sea cucumber. Like, it just is a sea cucumber, and it's like, that's really disappointing.
Dude, they must have put it in like a special fluid mixture or something that when you leave it in there long enough, the anatomical structure changes to that of a sea cucumber.
Maybe.
That's the only explanation.
Or alternatively, they didn't realize what they just caught. Rasputin was always a sea cucumber. That's why the poison didn't affect him.
That might actually make more sense.
That would just be fantastic to have to explain to the Russian nobility. We hired the sea cucumber.
That's why he was so hard to kill.
Yeah, the poison didn't do anything. He's a sea cucumber.
Yeah.
The bullets,
This
I
is
mean, do they have
hilarious
organs?
story. For anybody that doesn't know the story, dude, he was like, the nobility wanted to take him out.
Yeah, it was like two nobles. They were really close with the czars. They were like, he's the problem with the autocracy, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to get rid of this dude.
Yeah, and he also had like an official government position, and he had like power. People didn't like that because like, he was just some fucking dude.
He was just some mystic from like God knows where and
Yeah.
fucking everyone's wife, by the way. While
So
this is
the
happening.
nobility, they invite him over and they give him a bunch of cyanide-laced cake and wine, and this guy is just scorfing it down, like eating many times over what should have killed him already, and he's just having a great time.
Yeah, and they wait like a good, let's say like an hour, to just see like anything happens. They're like, okay, this dude
It gets so long to the point that the nobility decides we need a backup plan. Let's shoot this motherfucker because the cyanide is not killing him. So they shoot him, and I don't know how many times they shoot him.
Let's say 5-6 times, right? They shoot him like a good amount, like a whole clip, right?
Yeah, and then they go to the other room or
they go to the other room to get ready, like, okay, we gotta dispose the body, and then they come back and the dude's still alive.
Well, yeah, and what happens is I'm pretty sure he just like all of a sudden just jumps straight up out of nowhere.
I think he was trying to get the fuck out of the house.
Oh, and then he just starts running, and they're like, "What the fuck? He's still alive!"
So then I think they start clubbing him or beating him with swords or something like that.
They chase him down because he runs outside. They chase him down outside, and they start beating the shit out of him.
Maybe shoot him some more.
Right, and they tie him up.
Yeah.
And they throw him in the cold, icy river.
Assuming, by the way, he's fucking dead at this point. And then later in the autopsy, they found, no, he was still alive, sucked in a ton of water in the struggle. And it's like...
Right, and he had chewed almost entirely through his bindings.
Which is just remarkable. So, like, I think the running gag is, like, maybe he was a fucking mystic, because, Jesus. That's incredible.
Apparently he had some sort of ability to coagulate blood, which is why he was so useful.
Okay, so there's one
royal family. I don't know what all that was about.
Yeah, so the idea was the young heir czar, right? Forget his name. He got shot anyway, so it doesn't matter. He had hemophilia.
Yep.
So, just as simple as like a bruise would be like life-threatening, right? Especially back then, there was like no way. Yeah. So so that was the thing, and apparently the only person who could calm him down and seem to deal with it was Rasputin, like a really bizarre way. So there's one historical conspiracy theory that a lot of people have like thrown out the fucking door, is that like it has something to do with aspirin, because aspirin like thins your blood or whatever.
It does.
So the rumor was like supposedly Rasputin was feeding him a bunch of aspirin or some shit.
Well,
like
that would have the opposite effect.
Yeah.
That wouldn't work.
But when he would get bruised or whatever, stop feeding him the aspirin.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So like
okay,
he's
so
faking
like
the hemophilia.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But everyone's kind of come to terms like that's probably not fucking true, because that's also probably not how that works. Like, oh, the moment you bruise, I just don't feed you a pill for 2 hours and you don't die. Like, that's probably not how that works, right?
Probably not.
You know what I mean? So you would have enough of the damn medicine in you that's like, no, the effects will kill you. It's over, right?
Yeah. You would, yeah. That doesn't really make sense.
So the more
it's a good conspiracy theory, though.
Yeah. The more realistic thing is that he seemed like he was a really charismatic, convincing guy. So when he would tell the kid, like, hey, you're going to be fine, everything like that, that would just kind of reduce the heart rate and the kid would relax, Because I think if you know you have a bruise that's going to kill you, you're going to freak out more, right? Mm-hmm. And when you freak out more blood's flowing to that bruise, that's going to fucking kill you. So if you could just prevent that, like the death chances just drop to the floor, right?
It's a good theory.
Yeah.
Although I think he would probably just super magic man with a giant cock.
Probably, yeah. No, that's why I was really disappointed when I learned that was a sea cucumber and not his dick. Because again, I implore you, no porn star has anything on him.
Yeah, because I thought Rasputin was human. Turns out he's just a fucking sea cucumber.
Yeah. That's the title of this episode.
What time is it?
Let's see. It is 1:52. When the hell do we start filming?
I don't know.
All right.
But it's probably a good time to close it out. You think so?
Yeah, sounds good.
All
That's
right.
enough for episode 1.
All right. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it has been too.